Welcome back, everyone, from break. Thank you for joining us here. I realized when I said the break time be back by 9:45 that it was 9:45. So I hope everyone was able to grab a snack. So in this room, we're going to have knowledge spotlights. We're going to have some knowledge spotlights, and then we are going to have a panel discussion. So again, quick hits of lots of really interesting information. So we'll hear first from Monique Best from Mothers Matter Center, or HIPPY. And then she'll hand over the stage to Marc Hull-Jacquin from Shelter Movers. And finally, we'll have Nancy Wilson from the Canadian Women's Chamber of no, we will not have Nancy because Nancy is unwell. I just was reading. I need to stop reading. So no, we're going to have the two knowledge spotlights. Then we'll move immediately into our panel, Reimagining the Future of Health, Centering Equity, Women's Rights, and Indigenous Self-Determination in Healthcare, led by our moderator and one of the members of our Equal Futures Network Steering Committee, Sydney Paget, Director of Community Engagement with Elevate. So really excited about this morning, and I would welcome to the stage Monique.
Bonjour. Alors, je suis Monique Best, directrice des programmes en français du Centre Mothers
Hello,
Matter.
I'm Monique Best, Program Director of Mother Matter Center, also called HIPPY. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our center and what we are doing there, and also talking about the HIPPY in the 5 minutes. So we are a national consortium of organizations that help the vulnerable mothers trying to reduce their social isolation and try to give back their power to those vulnerable mothers. We think that mothers are a catalyst of change. So give them more capacities is to do the same to their children and their whole community. As for responsibilities and roles, we help our partners. So we don't offer those services directly to the families, we offer those services to our partners. So we offer a first 1 week intensive training and then more helps to our partners. We coordinate the networking activities of our partners. We're talking about some 25 partners in that matter, plus several one in the next autumn, and also help training, professional upgrade, and also activities of sensibilization, of awareness like the one we're doing today. And most importantly, we are in charge of the use rights of the HIPPY program in Canada. What is HIPPY? So most people believe it's the 60s movement, but no. HIPPY is home instruction for parents and of youngsters. So it's a home visit program for children who have kids in school. So we are the one that goes to their home. So this program, we believe that parents want the best for their kids and are the best educators for their kids. So we also believe that family is a learning environment, and we also believe that parents can learn from other parents. And the families go better when there's a sense of belonging. And that's what we are doing through the HIPPY program. I didn't prepare my presentation quickly enough so we can see what I see, but let's imagine a cycle. Our program works like a cycle. So the beginning, there's a team, a coordination team. So we are, the first phase, we're gonna recruit the parents. And then through those parents, we're trying to identify more people that can be hired for home visits. On the first year, it tends to be a bit challenging, but then on the next years, the parents take charge of that. So HIPPY is a program that helps to the transition to in order to get a job. So there are regular visits through the HIPPY curriculum. So we are training our crew to how to interact with the parents. So it's a learning process of through our HIPPY program. So through that different activities for the kids of 3, 4, 5 years. So after training our visiting crew, after being trained, our visitor will meet with each of the family she's in charge of to show them how we work, and the role play is our main method. So, and then we ask the parents to reproduce those activities with their kids. So generally it consists in 5 different activities, some about languages, other about literacy, science, math, and motricity. That's 5 parts of our program. So next step of the cycle, after the home visit, the parents take advantage of the activities, group activities that help them to create a network and to connect with more parents. It can be a workshop for the parents or for parents and the kids. So it depends from one HIPPY program to another. HIPPY is an international program. In Canada, it's funded through Immigration and Citizenship Canada, a program that has been recognized as establishment as a settlement program. So our partner need to respect our eligibility program. And most of the families that take part of our program are refugee families, with some exceptions. In some contexts, we've adapted our HIPPY program to help the indigenous communities. This program doesn't exist in French yet, but if demand for that exists, we could do it in French as well. So, HIPPY depends of the Ministry of Education or of the social services in other countries. So I hope that one day we could offer this program to all the Canadian families. So now, for the moment, it's a small program, but we would like to scale up this program to offer it to all the Canadian families. So if someone wants to invest in this kind of program, there's a return on investment, very interesting. So HIPPY is a long-term intervention program. It's not a program of a few weeks. Composed of an extended curriculum that can last up to 3 years, and each level offer 30 activity groups. So all the HIPPY program follow the same model of home visit and has the same kind of approach. Whether it's indigenous mother, an immigrant mother, or French-speaking mother, it's always the same kind of model. Parents learn the pedagogical concept that their kids learn in school, so it helps to create more links, and they're going to learn about the programs that they can access to depending on their needs. Mother centers have been received funds to extend its activities in the French-speaking regions. So we're testing also this program in rural areas in partnership with services in Winnipeg, Regina, and in some part of the country we're already active since 2008. During the COVID pandemic, there was a kind of special situation because the HIPPY program is a home visit program. So in the pandemic context, it's been challenging. So some parents decided to stop, but even in the pandemic situation, we decided to keep on going with our program. So now we're wondering if we should go back to our traditional model of home visit or to adopt a hybrid model and still follow the HIPPY model. So I think that I don't have more time, so don't hesitate if you have some questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. That's an excellent service. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Marc Hull-Jacquin. I am the founder and executive director of Shelter Movers. I'm a white cis male. I live in Toronto. I have 3 kids, master's degree in Austronesian Indigenous resistance. But today I come to you as a concerned citizen who had an idea in 2016 and wanted to be useful to my community. Shelter Movers is about hope. It's about offering practical and tangible solutions to supporting survivors experiencing abuse. We offer free moving and free storage, primarily to women and children, but serving all genders and anyone experiencing abuse on their journey away from violent households. It's a volunteer-run organization. We do have some staff, and our goal really is to support survivors on their journey. They are the heroes of their story, and our volunteers have an opportunity to be there for a very small portion of that very critical part of their journey away from violence. We all know the risks that come with the decision to leave an abusive relationship. We understand the logistical, financial, and safety risks. We know that survivors flee on average 6 times from their partner. And Shelter Movers is a mechanism that survivors can use in conjunction with their work with transition homes or social workers or law enforcement or whoever it is they're working with as an integrated part of their plan to leave once and for all on their terms in dignity with their belongings. The organization's grown pretty quickly. I started this in my basement. I was on parental leave with Clarice, our 3rd child. I'm holding my daughter and I'm thinking maybe I could be useful to families in my community, and in conjunction with a local women's shelter realized that in fact survivors don't have a lot of options when they decide to leave. We know that women's shelters, as you all likely know, have a 1 or 2 bag limit. When she gets to the shelter, that's what she can take in with her. They don't have storage, they don't have moving trucks, they don't have language interpreters if she doesn't speak English or French, they don't have connections to the broader community, Indigenous serving organizations, LGBTQ+ organizations, and Shelter Movers offers that coordination of service rapidly in a survivor-centered and trauma-informed way. So we grew. Word of our service spread pretty quickly, and we found ourselves being contacted by cities across Canada. We now operate in 6 Canadian cities, moving at the height of the pandemic about 135 families per month. We moved 1,468 families last year. We're on pace to move 1,712 families this year. And I'm very proud of that, and I think our volunteers would be very proud of that as well. But as you all know as well as I do, there were approximately 90 to 100,000 cases of abuse reported last year. So our sandbox is considerably bigger than our capacity, no surprise. So the most important voice in the room is the one that we listen to, is that is the voice of our clients. A quick quote here about the importance of the sense of freedom that our survivors, our clients feel. I always tell people interested in volunteering at Shelter Movers that they should be in the room when we have supported a client and she's moved into her new place and she's opening the boxes of her own things that we've had in storage for her for 6 or 12 months now. And the kids are running around and it's like the holidays, but it's their own stuff. But you see the pride and you see the dignity, and you see the shoulders come down a little bit in the room as she looks around and she says, I did this. And we say, yeah, you did this. We get to be in the room when that happens. And for someone who looks and sounds like me, that's a rare opportunity. And I think for our volunteers, particularly the guys in our organization, it's a very special opportunity to be of service, to understand what allyship truly means, and to educate ourselves about our power and privilege and how we can still be part of the solution. Shelter Movers doesn't believe that violence against women is actually a women's issue. It's a men's issue. We know that. And men have a duty and a responsibility to be part of the solution. So our moving service is broken into 3 types, depending on the urgency and the risk that our clients are facing. The level of the risk of lethality, we know that in the first 6 months of leaving her partner, our clients face elevated risk levels. If he finds out that she's pregnant and she's visiting a doctor, we know the risk levels go up. So in conjunction with the shelter or the partner, we will determine whether or not this is an urgent exit where she needs to go now. So we have the ability in most of our cities to respond within a few hours. We will have language interpreters, either law enforcement or private security, depending on the needs of the client. Language interpreters, we have access to our storage and trucks. And so we're in, she points, we move, and we're out. And she needs to go to a safe place. We don't find housing for our clients. She needs to be able to know where she's going. It can be a friend's house, it can be a women's shelter, doesn't really matter to us. So that we wait for her direction. Escorted moves are in the scenario where she's already fled and she's in a safe place and she wants to go back to the home to gather her belongings. We know that's a very volatile situation. He's now been tipped off that of her intention to leave. And so we will bring police or, again, our own private security. We have bodyguards that are provided at no cost through our corporate partnerships. And the happiest or the lowest risk scenario is the resettlement, where the client has been in shelter in a safe place for, say, multiple months. Maybe she has a new identity now and she's ready to move back out into the community with her kids. And so we'll pick her up at the shelter or wherever she is, grab her items out of our storage and set her up in her new location. Again, we don't find the housing. That is on her to do, and the housing workers she's likely working with through our network. Our volunteers are anyone and everyone. What do you love to do? What are you good at? And will you do that for Shelter Movers? That's kind of been my mantra for recruitment for the last 6 years. We need a lot of people if we're going to be reliable and quick in our response. And we need the right kind of people. So people have the right philosophy of service. We watch our people very closely. We monitor them during the moves. We provide constant training. We provide mental health counseling for anything they may have seen or heard during the move that sticks with them. They need to talk to somebody about it. And so again, just getting back to the point that this is an opportunity for men and male identified folks to try to be of service and try to be part of the solution to ending gender-based violence. Our clients, as you can imagine, typically 18 to 55, large newcomer population, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis population, settler population as well. Many of our clients are pregnant or with a child under 8. And as you can see there, our main requirements is that she or they, the survivor, has experienced or is experiencing abuse or living with the effects of that violence at some point in their life, and that they have a safe place for us to take them. We need to be low barrier. It will always be a free service. There is no payment whatsoever. Our revenue streams are, we do receive some cash from wage, which is much appreciated. We also have relationships with corporate sponsors who provide in-kind donations of storage and security, as I mentioned, and discounted trucks. And then I spend a lot of my time shaking a lot of hands, as many of you are as well, with family foundations and writing grants. So we need a mix of revenue in order to be sustainable, particularly during the pandemic. I mentioned a little bit about our growth. Our strat plan involves expansion to new cities pretty much every year for the next few years. And then not only wide across more locations, but also deeper. So making sure that we are more relevant to particularly marginalized communities and the agencies who serve them in order to be responsive to the specific needs of the families we're serving. I will skip through all this good stuff to get to the important stuff, which is what our clients think of us. So these are clients, one from Vancouver and one from Halifax. One client mentioned that the kindness that they felt, the support that they felt from our volunteers, the people we train, was appreciated through a very difficult partner journey. And then the second quote about a mother and the stresses that she felt, the sense of shame and guilt that our clients frequently feel when they're deciding to leave, when they quote unquote break up the family, when they're perhaps risking complete isolation from their own community. We know, or we feel we may understand the level of risk they are taking for themselves, and we honor that. And our job is to maybe be of service to them as they decide what's best for them and their kids. That's it. My name is Marc. It's nice to meet you. If you're looking for the white boy, I'm your guy. Thank you.